So I'm really enjoying this moment of attention because there are quite a few messages I want to share with you, and there is a reason why we celebrate tonight. This is what I share tomorrow or today with my team. This is about celebration, and we have quite a few reasons. And for me personally, first of them is we are gathering without masks. And it's really enjoyable, and I'm really enjoying it to be with you guys together here, like very natural. Another thing, what I realized today was like right about this time, 1 year ago, the idea of metaverse was born, Michael. So right, like it was about around 10th of April when we started to work on this project. So it's 1 year of metaverse, and for us, I would say personally, it's a very big thing, and seeing such a beautiful crowd here, it's giving me the feeling that we done something right. Another important occasion is we are launching our embassy in Decentraland. This is our gallery in the metaverse, and today we are showcasing the community of artists. We have more than 20 artists that join us on this journey, and for most of you guys, I know that this is the first NFT and first metaverse performance you are joining, and first time you are having this experience, and I feel really humbled and feel honored and grateful to have so much support and so much trust. And first of all, Diana, thank you so much for being such a great partner. Street Art Berlin is an amazing agency with the coolest artists. Thank you. So yes, this is the beginning of a journey for many people here. We are first time in the metaverse, so this live event is being live streamed in Decentraland, where people basically can join us from everywhere. Our gallery is right next to the representation of Sotheby's. So this was also the idea. How can we bring urban and street art culture on the eye level to, you know, high-end art market and show that we have this representation, because in the real life, it's very difficult. And I know that the question of location and spaces, it's all about, you know, gentrification and who owns the space. And so we try to have this, you know, playful approach to symbolically bring the street culture, what we really love, on the same level, and show, yeah, we are here, and we can really have a lot of fun, and we can do it in a smart way. So what we will see today, my dear colleague Teresa, who was creating and curating this exhibition, she will give us a tour later through the embassy. She will show us what's going on there. So I hope that some people from around the world will join. And we are broadcasting also in via YouTube, via Twitter. What else? Facebook. So everywhere we are omnipresent. And there is something really exciting I learned today. The word avatar. So we are represented in the metaverse with our avatars. Avatar comes from Sanskrit. Sanskrit, yeah?
Sanskrit, yeah.
Sanskrit, from the JavaScript, from Sanskrit, and it means to descend. So basically, we are right now descending in the metaverse. And
getting a sunburn.
yeah, like from descendancy. And the event today and the occasion today is not to set the standard, but it's just to play around and to experiment. How can we bring all those different channels and opportunities and platforms together to make art and culture experienceable, to make it experienceable for audiences from, you know, from Twitter, from their Decentraland, from real life. How can we expand the inclusivity of culture? And this is, I think, that one of the reasons why we are doing Metaverse is to include as much participation in art and culture as possible, and to empower artists to be present, to be validated, to be on the, you know, to be on the top of the game. So yeah, this is the bigger picture. What did I miss? I want to say thank you to Michael, because Michael, all eyes on you today. You have been walking this thing. So this whole technical stuff I have no idea about, as Michael, and this is the, yes, please. I cannot imagine the complexity of it, and I'm very, very happy that you're doing it, and with so much dedication. And I believe that it's not easy, but I hope you can enjoy tonight. And thank you to our beautiful, very courageous, very talented team, Steph and Teresa. Tuncha is here. I don't see her. I see Teresa, but I don't see Tuncha. Mike, where is him? Martina. Thank you everyone for supporting and for being part of it, and it's quite a ride. So what we start doing now, I would love to invite Jan Deneke. He's the founder of 12 by 12. This is a music NFT platform, basically doing kind of similar stuff for musicians, what we are doing, like creating a platform where artists from where artists can play around and can explore and learn how to use the opportunities of Web3. And I want to invite Frank Kahn. You're here. The founder of Rave Space and Museo de Central. It's an amazing project. I love it so much. By the way, we are also in the museum. You can visit Museo de Central virtually. And there is a Metaverse room with a small exhibition. And and Vanguard, our dear artist, is also your first NFT, right? No? Okay, we will figure it out. So we will have a conversation about opportunities and challenges what Web3 is bringing to the creative economy, to the art market, what is meaningful for artists, how can they use it, and what can we do all together to bring more playfulness, art, and beauty into the world. Yeah, so shall we start? Yeah. And thank you to this beautiful place, Holzmarkt. This is my dear home. I feel so grateful and happy to be here and to connect those platforms together. Yeah. So I don't know why I'm putting this microphone. Once we start, Fran and Jan and Anne, would you join? Sure. So you guys can choose. You can watch it there. You can watch it here. I hope everyone has a drink. Oh, so good to see you all, guys. I just enjoy watching everyone here. If someone wants to join the talk, please join. Feel free. Cool. So Bob was listening. Then for the beginning. Oh yeah, right. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Anya. I'm a co-founder of Holzmarkt and the member of Holzmarkt Cooperative, and I'm also co-founder of Metaverse, of the platform we are launching here, the platform to bring street and urban contemporary art into Web be and to create the participative model how artists and collectors can connect. And one of our artists and vendor, muralist and painter is here. And I would really love to start asking you, how do you feel about, what does it mean for you also to enter the space, and what do you expect of it, and which challenges do you see? So how do you feel about that?
Well, actually, the first time I got approached by an NFT platform was back in 2018, and I really didn't get it back then. They tried to explain it to me, but I really didn't understand how it would apply to a fine art, physical painter who was, creating physical art. And since the boom last year, and just before that, I saw more and more digital artists moving into the space and explaining why it is beneficial. And yeah, then I began to understand it. And I got very, very deep into everything around it, all the projects that were going off, the financial market around it, the technology around it. But it was a lot to take in. And I wanted to observe first to really understand the space and understand what it's all about. And then obviously I saw how a lot of artists were diving in, and how they began integrating NFTs into their work. And somehow I felt like that, I didn't want to rush getting into it, and I didn't want to, be swept away by this idea of being able to make a lot of money in a short space of time. And then also and this is something I still observe with artist friends of mine who have become very, very involved in the space, the amount of time they're actually putting in like marketing and promoting themselves and their projects. And some of them are actually dealing with a lot of anxiety. And what I find valuable about projects like this is that it's more of a community, that everybody is like carrying their little part, but you're not like 110% invested all the time. You're not hanging out on Twitter or Clubhouse all the time because of fear of missing out. And I think that's when last year, that's the point actually where I logged out for a bit, because having battled FOMO for ages and having not really experienced FOMO for a long time, I started getting FOMO again, and I was like, I do not want this. I don't want to be an artist in the NFT space by myself yet. So projects like Metaverse really spoke to me because it's a shared journey. That you get to share the platform with other artists. There are people taking care of, presentation in Decentraland in this instance, for example, the marketing, the promotion, and that's something that I'm very grateful for, and something that I really value as an independent artist, being part of this bigger thing, this bigger group.
Thank you, and I wish for all the artists that this anxiety will be transformed into excitement, and as we start now, so we really put all our forces together to create the space where you can unfold and play with new tools without fear. And while speaking about fear, I know that most of the anxiety comes from uncertainty and from this is so new and we don't know what happens in the space. What does it mean? What kind of rights, what kind of obligations artists go or commit to while creating NFTs? What does it mean to have this NFT on the blockchain? And there is a big question sign, right, around it, what's about the legal frame. And therefore, I'm super happy to have Jan here, the founder of 12 by 12, because Jan is a lawyer and has been, I believe you dig really deep into this, to be able to create the platform, to create the marketplace for musicians to facilitate NFT projects. Would you please tell us about the platform and what you are targeting and where are you now? I know that you are launching a big project at the moment, right? So tell us more. Yes.
No, first of all, thank you, Anja, and team, having me here. It's great to finally have a stage in my nearly becoming hometown, Berlin, to talk about these exciting topics all around blockchain. So, first of all, I'm not a lawyer anymore, so. But I used to work as a copyright and media lawyer for 15 years. And that was actually the moment when I jumped into my first startup and we were dealing with documentation of licenses of still images or image agencies. That was a long time ago, and as always, like you're sometimes ahead of the wave. And we were trying to tackle a really big problem to document these license changes on the blockchain. I was very excited to get this done, but as always, there are a lot of difficulties around coming from the regulatory side and legal side, and not only that one, but also around the structure, how the industries are actually structured, which is a big topic we should talk later, maybe a little bit also about. So I think what we are doing, by the way, we have 1 year anniversary. I just looked it up as well. So we founded basically the same time as I think last year there was everybody who looked a little bit at the market, saw that huge opportunity coming up alongside. I know Frank was longer in the game already. He saw it coming way longer than we all did, but now what we are doing is, in the end, what we are doing is, I'm trying to avoid the word NFT all the time because I think it's frightening away a lot of people. We are more a blockchain-driven community place for music. What does that mean? We have integrated an NFT marketplace in our concept, and also thanks to Frank, a included metaverse where people then can utilize and actually stage their NFTs. I think there are two things actually that are super difficult and very important to tackle. One thing is actually the technology side, because people sometimes don't really understand what your great partner, I forgot the name of him, but what he actually managed to do. People don't just understand it, and I think if you look at on the one side of the artist itself and on the other side the fan, which we actually try to combine with each other, you have to understand, or we try to understand, that this is that they are normally not tech savvy. We are all sitting here, and I think we all know how this kind of works, but we are still a small circle to understand really the value that it's given from. And the other side is, that's also a topic, and that's because of my legal background in the end, I think it's the legal perspective. So how do we actually deal with it? And if you look at blockchain itself, I always ask myself, or not maybe only me, is it more a political opinion, or is it actually a fact that we're looking at? Because everything decentral and we're giving rights for free and everybody can use it, and for this law normally doesn't really work in the real world, and we have to deal with the real world problems as well to integrate it in the best way. So I think the biggest issue we are having is actually trying to educate people on the tech side, but on a very, very easy and low barrier side, and on the other side, give the people, the artists, also the feeling that their core asset they're actually trying to transport into that place is actually safe, and this is the IP, and on the other side, their fan base, and therefore you actually need to give the fan, the artist needs to give the fan the feeling that it's not only about money grabbing, it's about building up an engagement between the fan and the artist, and I think these are super important topics actually to discuss.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's about building up the engagement And this engagement is, I think, we should definitely keep this question how to build up the engagement and to create this, let's say, relationship between artists and collectors, because in the real life, everyone says, what do I have when I purchase this digital piece of this image? What do I have? What is the purpose of it? And what kind of new possibilities of engagement the NFT is bringing? And I would really like you to continue with this question, how you deal with this, what kind of engagement you facilitate or you provide for your artists, or how you engage the community?
So I think what we tried is, I mean, we tried a lot. We tried a lot in the very first beginning. We tried actually to mint an NFT, put it out without like putting too much marketing effort and education behind it. And guess what? It didn't work. So because it's super difficult, that's what I'm saying, that the normal music fan, he's normally not in that crypto world. So he doesn't really understand what is the value behind that digital asset. You can tell him that digital ownership, own it, in the future, like in your metaverse and whatnot, but in the end, they don't really get it. They don't understand what is the work behind it. So what we actually tried, out of this experience we tried to build up kind of NFT campaigns. So actually build a longer story behind it, a longer story that follows the artist on his next steps and doesn't end just with one drop, but there is coming more behind it. And in the very first place, I think it was for us super important, the value talk. So what did we do? We kind of try to compare, we have a kind of campaign kickoff token, which is an NFT, and we integrate it alongside to airdrops possibilities or metaverse accesses. We integrated a real world value with kind of a merchandising article integrated where the fan in the end can understand, okay, this hoodie or this t-shirt or whatever that cap that costs me in the real world 20-30 bucks, and this is integrated, and then the NFT alongside actually has the same kind of value behind it. And I think this is only fair because people don't really you need to bring them alongside, and then alongside you can tell them, okay, on top of that, you actually get access to your artist, you get access to special editions, digital collectibles or artworks or whatsoever, but you shouldn't overprice it. And on that stage, actually, you have them by using NFTs and moving in that kind of area, and then he suddenly sees that there is a direct engagement between the fan and the artist itself. And that wave that you actually try to build out with the campaign kickoff, that you have to build out, and there out of this over a longer term, and you hopefully create an understanding that the value of that NFT with its different kind of utility functions. And we have to be careful with the name NFT or the word NFT, because normally most of them in the end aren't NFTs anymore. They are just normally utility tokens, which can be fungible as well. And in the end, then if you have built up that community, then you can come out and really say, okay, now I have a digital asset, now I have a share, now I tokenize my asset. And this is what I offer directly to the community I have built up at front. And I think this is super important to do, or this was like a key moment for us where we said, like, it's never a single drop, it's always a campaign.
Thank you. Thank you. And at this point, I just want to add that also thinking a lot about this, what this token is representing is way more just than one drop. It's a story, and this is identity, and this is the creative process. And I'm really excited about this possibility because I see the NFT, we're not saying NFT, but I see this thing as the glue, which is able to stick together the artist, the collector community, and also the story and information which we can provide to unveil way more about what the artist thinks, what is their process to create more appreciation, validation, and provenance. And this is why we were trying also to include in our certificate as much personal information about the history of the artwork, because we are working with urban art, so that people can purchase not only one token, but they can build up the relation to this artwork and its background. And here I think this is a very important point, where not just the final result of creative process, but the whole process becomes validated. And I believe that for artists, it opens huge field of opportunities, how to tell the stories. Let's tell stories and let's involve people in the stories and share it with our community. Yeah, and while talking about communities, I also have to think about, like, from my personal experience, communities is all about space. Community needs the space to meet up, to meet, to experience something, to bond. And now we can talk about the spaces in the Web3. Yes, and Frank is the rock star of the Metaverse spaces. So the most amazing looking Metaverse I've ever seen. Congratulations. And there are two of them, rave space, where people can party, and the central, where people can experience culture. So tell us more about what is possible in those spaces and how we can, as a community, participate there, and what can we do?
All right. Okay. First of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, I'm Frank. I'm co-founder of Rakespace. Technically, we are a startup. We started our business January last year, and unfortunately, my two co-founders, Pablo and Tom, are not with me because unfortunately they have no time. So, but I want a little bit tell about the history and where we come from and where we want to head to. And as we have kind of the same social background, my co-founders and myself, like we are DJs, we're artists, I'm a drum-bass producer, I'm in the music scene for a long time. We have had this crazy idea to build a real virtual techno club. So we started this project Rakespace, and yeah, and I'd like to show you this first. Hopefully this is going to work because it's not my computer. Just 1 second.
Frank, do you want me to bring it a little bit closer to you so you can...
Geiles Passwort, ja.
First, think about Web3. It's all about password. Never forget your password.
Okay. I think I need to change the password after this. Right? No, but the thing is, we started this club April last year, and we made like a lot of parties. But at the moment, the entry of the club is free because we are running a 24/7 Soli rave party for Ukraine. So everything what's going to be consumed within that party, we are donating to Ukraine. And this is going on as long as it is necessary. So it doesn't matter if you know passwords because you can go in free. But I overjumped onboarding. So yeah, because I think the Rakespace is going to show you a bit. So okay, yeah. Yeah, that's okay, can you Metaverse is connected.
You know, we are descending. Okay. We're descending.
So when you enter the Rakespace, you enter outside the yard, right? And so you walk towards the bouncer, and to get in, hopefully we can get in because we are in Berlin, so sometimes it's not easy. And yeah, here we are. That's our rave space. And the cool thing is it's totally web-based. So it works on every browser. And the great thing, oh, okay, I can do the music here. Any chance to... okay, the music is just on my...
No, but we have our own music.
The music is just on my laptop, which is a little bit... It's a shame because it's a really great experience, because when you enter this club situation and everything is like... Okay, but it's spatial audio, it's binaural, so when you enter it and have it on your headphones, it's distance based, so the closer you get to the PA system, the louder it gets. And by the way, DJ is playing is next surprise. She's here, she's over there. Round of applause. Okay, so yeah, so there are a lot of funny things you can experience in this club. Let me change the settings to turn up the brightness because it's a really dark experience. So the cool thing is whoever is now joining the club on his computer, anywhere in the world, can join the club and we could rave together, right? And you can trigger dance moves, you can walk around, you can even put stickers on the wall here. You have your own profile and you can upload your sticker and then you put it on the wall. So all these stickers are not from us, they are really from friends, guests and artists. You use it. So yeah, the friends from Piag have been into the club. And so the funny thing really starts when a lot of people are in there at the same time, and you can start communication. You have the voice, the direct voice chat is included. So you have to walk to somebody, and then you can establish directly a voice chat connection. You can talk to them. You can also build groups. You can, yeah, you can. Ja, was kann man hier auf der Toilette? So a lot of stuff.
Is it happening in the real life?
It was, but that's not live. Okay, so the people you are now seeing this is scripted, but if there would be other people now, if somebody else here in the room would connect with your laptop, I would see him, we could communicate, we could also dance together and do funny things. You can also, yeah, this guy is selling drugs. The problem with this guy is if I now consume these drugs, it's going to be like a K-hole, so super slow, and this is going to be last for a couple of minutes. But I invite everybody to instill by yourself. There's also funny drinks that have funny, interesting experiences. So, and also we have a cooperation with IRL Berlin, so you can order some condoms, vegan condoms, of course. So, the idea was to create this virtual world where people can have a beat together, have fun together, can consume music. And so that was kind of the kickoff to our idea to build these kind of spaces. And as we are also a lot, especially from our interest-wise in the art space, we thought, hey, why not opening a 24/7 art gallery? So that's what we did. If you walk outside the yard, you see this gallery. This gallery is 24/7 open. So and if there's no party, then the doors of course closed and no bounce outside. So this gallery you can experience at any time. So that was kind of our entry in this NFT space, because until then it was just a virtual experience. But then we thought, okay, we can invite like awesome artists. They can do their NFT drops, and they can at the same time celebrate a party. And it's also great. I mean, we're talking a year ago, right? This is also this is a year old, and that was kind of new to experience like these kind of especially sculptures and 3D objects. And yeah, basically that was the rave space, and then. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to overtake my time, but I want to show 3 things, okay? So, yeah. Okay, so based on this kind of technology, we invented, we built lots of other spaces. The next big project was together with the HashMask crew. They came up with the idea to build an NFT drop with Wolfgang Beltracchi. You might know him. He's one of the greatest art forgers in the world, and we thought it's a good fit because he kind of turned everything upside down. So I thought it's a good it's a good approach for an NFT project. So we built basically the whole website, but also this 3D experience. So it's a single player experience, as you can see, and the purpose was to show the NFT artworks, and we had like several rooms with different kind of style, and it's also, and that's the beauty of our technology, it's running in the browser. It's not something we need to download, it's not something we have to like cloud rendering, everything is in the browser, and you can see it right here. You see I'm in the website, but at the same time running the experience. So that means we can implement it everywhere in an app, and even this is also working in, with VR glasses. And thanks. And also, and to make this running so smooth, especially in the browser, we need to take care about a lot of things, that it's still performant, but that's basically our tech stack. And yeah, Warhol inspired. So you get the idea. And as we built this for Beltracchi, we thought, hey, why not doing our own NFT project? And so we built City Central. Yeah, it's building, but with City Central, this was our own NFT project. The whole smart contract, everything, the website is built by us. And the idea which we had is to build basically the largest NFT museum in the Metaverse. But we wanted to have also the intersection of bringing like artists from the original world, from the analog world, into that space, and to combine NFT artists and real artists, not real artists, also real artists, but you know what I'm saying, right? Okay, so we needed to create a mechanism, and our mechanism is that we created 222 frames inside the museum, and every frame itself is also an NFT. So you buy a frame, which is an NFT, you can trade it, but also you can display your NFTs into this frame. So that's the idea, and it was quite successful right from the beginning, at least for the cheap frames. Probably we have been a little bit too high with the pricing, but it doesn't matter because this project was not the intention to sell out. Somebody's in there to sell out, and that's it. We wanted to have a sustainable NFT project. So, and the beauty. Oh, that was a short visit. Okay. So, and because of that, we have 2 rooms. One room here is in this room. By the way, is at the moment the amazing exhibition of Stefan Küpp. Stefan, where are you? Yes. And here it is. Yoo-hoo! It's called NFT for Ukraine. Here you can see it, and yeah, I will invite everybody to take a look at all these amazing artworks. I like Stefan's the most, and I agree. Fuck Putin, just for the record.
Someone buy it. Is it on sale?
We already sold 4 out of the 50.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So, and what you can occasionally see, so people are getting in and out. So this is also fully multiplayer. I don't know these guys. They are just also, I mean, I could walk towards them and also could chat to them, but yeah. So we have here is a history of NFT projects and now, drum roll, as of today, we have a new room and we are super happy to show the meta walls. Look here. This is the new room.
Wow, we have water in our room. Yes, cool.
Yeah.
So this was a very, very spontaneous thing, and I'm sorry, I never put an exhibition in 10 minutes. Thank you, Teresa, that you dropped out.
Also wonderful applause, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and also as we were talking about avatars, as we have some nice functionality, we are, sorry, I don't know if anybody of you knows Ready Player Me. It's a great project. You know, it's you can create your own avatars in seconds. You just take a picture of yourself, and then there's an avatar created based on your face, and then you can also customize it. And then it's going to be saved, and you can, if the application can have the opportunity to implement it, you can use it multi and cross platform. So. Ready Player Me. And so that's what we implemented. So I don't do it now because that's on my laptop, but on mine I'm already in there as Frank. And the cool thing is what that means is you can customize your avatar and represent yourself in Cities Control, but also in GTA or in 12x12 Metaverse. And this is something where we're heading to create also assets and variables and music and all this kind of stuff to use it in these kind of worlds. By the way, there's also Philip, wonderful applause to Go NFTs, also really, really forward thinking, these guys. Give them a round of applause. They are really pushing things forward here in Berlin. And also we are working together and doing great things hopefully in the future. Okay, so yeah, that's VC Central. And lastly, and then I'm really done. 1 second.
I still have questions. I'm not the only one, I guess.
And I also would like to show another project, which is called James World. It's a fashion label here in Berlin. They create fashion and combine it with NFT. And wait. And the idea here was, or not the idea, the request from them has been to basically recreate their real physical space. So, oh, there's a lot going on. So what we have done, this is this building really exists. It's a Tempelhofer Ufer. Oh well, the surroundings are not real, of course, because there should be normally the Brücke. But anyway, the interesting, yeah, please. As you can see, it's also multiplayer. But what I wanted to show you is here that we not only create first-person appearance. Also, this is a third-person experience. You can see I can roll the camera, I can walk, run around. And also inside this James Fashion World, you can see amazing artworks and sculptures, and they also doing lots of exhibitions and this kind of stuff. And yeah, and this is all running in the browser. That's the essence. Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you so much, friend. It's really, I was impressed from the first moment I saw. But I'm also curious. You were talking, we saw there are a few visitors there. Hello. Thank you. I wonder, who are the visitors? Who is coming to these spaces? Who is waiting in this place? Who are those people who come and buy virtual drinks? And who meets? Who was it in the dark room? But what is the community you target? And also, how do you see the change of like the behavior of how people meet in the space while you are adding this virtual possibility?
I think first of all, it depends. The businesses depends on the environment, which way are attracted. I guess 80% of the rave space people have been real people that are into techno music and have been in there because of the lineup. But also there have been a lot of people coming from the blockchain, Web3 kind of world because they are used to this kind of experience, and it was a nice clash. And for me, it was, I remember when we had the first launch party, it was 5 hours. We had DJL, we had Natalia, like a huge, massive lineup. And I remember, I thought 5 hours in front of the computer. How can I stand it? It's going to be boring. But it was interesting because the total opposite happened. Because it's a whole different situation. If you really walk actively somewhere, you can decide where you want to go. You can decide who you want to speak. If you walk towards somebody and ask them for a conversation, and they are somewhere in the world, in our race club, everybody's everybody's the same, so you don't even know who it is. This is, and also in all these in-game things, like doing drugs, drink something, having conversation, experience music. There have been people that were just like dancing the whole evening, and they were really like amazed about the situation to have this 360 sound experience. So I think this was totally mixed up, and it's a totally different attraction for people that come and visit We See That Central. And as we have no token exit, we also don't know. We can see where they come from because of Google Analytics, but we don't really know. We don't also not know who really bought these frames, and that's also the interesting part. Because we don't want to create barriers, we don't want to track the people's address, all this kind of stuff. We want to, and also with the museum, it was that we want to democratize this also what's going to be displayed inside the museum, because we cannot control it. It's totally decentralized and curated by the people that buy the frame. I mean, of course, if there would be something really bad, we will blur it, but at the end, we couldn't avoid it, so we would blur it. But, yeah.
So, is there, this is interesting, is there it's all decentralized, people can act as they want and as they are, but it also opens up the possibilities for people to express something which really can hurt the feeling, the identity of others. Is there a chance how you, like, is it curated at the end?
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, we have these 2 curated rooms. We are curated by us, and we take the responsibility what's going to be shown in there. The rest not, because if people buy a frame, and then they can display whatever they want. But if it's like sexism, homophobia, or is it like something we wouldn't tolerate racism and stuff like that, then we would blur the frame. But we cannot avoid originally that they enter it's in the frame because it's on the blockchain. So there is, well, you can call it censored, but it's just a morality sensor every human being should have, and that's the line we would not allow to. But this is but also this is depending on the space. In the city central, it's definitely like that. But basically, we don't have in control what's going to be displayed.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the interesting point we are approaching, the control and the curation, and how to create the safety of the space where we express the ethics. And this is something what I really think a lot of. How can we be active participants on creating the ethics while using the technology? And how can we represent the art and the best of the humanity through the Web3? And I'm curious which thoughts you have on that. How can we? How can artists? It's about you. What do you want to bring into this world? How do you see yourself in this? What is it your vision in a Web3, what you want to make in the Metaverse and NFT?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic because I think we live in an age where cancel culture is rife currently. There is, of course, there is a beautiful focus on creating safe spaces, but I feel like it shouldn't be all encompassing, right? And especially, I think with the role of art, art also needs to challenge. Of course, art can be decorative, it can be beautiful, it can be entertaining, but sometimes, or actually often, it needs to also challenge. And I've already witnessed many cases where also friends of mine have been publicly cancelled, also by big institutions. There was a case last year, for example, where a friend of mine was cancelled by the Royal Academy in London because of her beliefs on the gender debate, where her personal belief is that sex is a thing and gender is something separate. And based upon that belief, she offended a lot of trans activists, and the Royal Academy ended up cancelling her. They also made a public apology, which personally I think is great. But I think here we are also in danger of almost creating spaces that are too safe. And I think spaces can be created with certain ethics and morals and topics that may want to be discussed or portrayed. But I think we have to be careful of creating spaces that are too controlled. Because we still need to allow room for dialogue and for exchange, and sometimes that is difficult and painful, and it's going to upset some people. I think that's part of debate culture, which I personally feel art needs to be a part of, and art needs to be free to express.
Basically, the purpose of art to express the feeling of time and society where we are. And I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, the creating spaces which are not physically limited and acting above boundaries opens up something for the spirit of us, something for the creativity, where we can express ourselves in a way that we can not in a physical space. So
imagine you would build rooms without gravity, stuff like this, you know. If you fly instead of walk, stuff like that, that couldn't be possible.
So it's a playground, but how can we bring ethics and safety and security into the space while keeping it decentralized? This is the question to you.
Thank you for this easy one. No, I think we have two issues actually to look at. First of all, living in that digitalized world, and especially now entering into Web3, we have to look at the audiences where we actually present ourselves as becoming much more bigger. And normally in the analog world, like sitting here and talking to a couple of people, and now descending into the decentralized, there might be the opportunity that not only that people are listening to, but actually thousands or millions. So your audience becomes much bigger, and that's why art itself, or actually every expression, has, I think, has a bigger responsibility actually to what they actually express and what they are talking to, because it's yeah, it depends how people actually interpret the art and what it basically leads to. So I think it's always the discussion around is there anything that regulates these spaces? And I had the discussion with Philip a couple of days ago, and my co-founder. And in the end, if you look at it, like democracy is actually the first very DAO system that we have, you know, and democracy is a established kind of rules where what is allowed and what is not allowed. Okay, one might to understand some of that and the other one not, and that's totally fine. And there are rules all differently all over the different countries, but in the end, I think that also if you look at the DAO systems we are looking at, they also have the voting systems. They also established a certain kind of rules, allow people in there. So I think it lies in the end in the way of human beings work together and live together. that they need to regulate themselves and that there need to be some rules what you actually do and what you not do. So if you have racist art in your metaverse, you actually blur it. So that's a regulation. Somebody might call it. Yeah, exactly. So, but I think in the end, it's nothing that someone has to be afraid of. I think it's like a total normal thing to go to. But on the other thing, I think having all of us here like moving very forward in a space that is super new, there comes also some responsibility with it and how you actually deal with that kind of power that gives you by tech actually to reach out to millions of people. And I think it's never too, and also I have 2 daughters. I also look what they actually have to in a later time. How do they deal with these things? And I think there needs to be kind of an ethic to look at, but the ethic should never minimize the creativity of art in the end. And I think that's how I see it. I hope I could answer some of your questions.
Way more than you could answer the questions. You open up something very important, the ethics, the self-responsibility and participation. And I think that when I think about Web3 and what it gives to us, I recognize that never before I felt so responsible and so able to participate in the creating of governance rather than with these tools. And what I see here, of course, art is one expression of our human participation on experience of life. And the creation of reality includes the governance and the governance models, how we vote for what and how we want to have it and what kind of ethics we implement. It's on us, it's not on technology. And this is, I think, a very important point. And we today, as the early adopters here, talking about the very, very beginning of something very big and jumping on this adventure, my intention is to keep this awareness of we are those who bring the content, we are those who bring the ethics, we are those who bring the spirit. And it's not the technology or someone else, the entity who takes the responsibility and the bank and someone else. It's up to us to create those realities and participation models. And for me, it feels very empowering. I feel like wow, we can do way more. And regarding to art, because it's all about art today, not only about art, but art is an expression of our divine human nature. It's like sometimes so difficult to speak about it. Yeah, and all these eyes on me. I don't know. I'm not used to it. Yeah, I feel like this empowerment and encouraging for artists to be part of this movement and to play with these tools, it can bring way more credibility to all this Web3 component. It's not only about speculation and money transfer, but it's all about our expression and participation. And this is what I would love to reach, to target, to achieve with those gatherings here. And I know that many artists who gather today, they are at the beginning of this journey, as most of us. And I want to open, at this moment, I want to open the space for questions. If someone wants to ask something, if someone wants to share something, if there is some kind of expressions wants to be shared in the space. Because it's all going to be descended into Metaverse. Take your chance. Marina, I'm so happy that you're on board. I love your artwork. So, anything anything someone wants to share here on the sofa?
I mean, just like to add one thing. I think you opened up a very good point. We are all talking about Web3, but in the end, like Web3 means that we're exchanging digital assets. Like that's actually the big game changer compared to Web2. And I think every artist needs to know that the moment he's actually putting up an NFT, he's actually exchanging his asset. It's not just like that. So the feeling of the worth of the product shouldn't be only by the fan, it should be also with the artist itself, because he's giving something away to another person. And I think that also plays into the question how you actually regulate it. What are the rules? How do you do it? What is he actually doing with your piece of art, which is basically something very intimate of an artist itself. And I think that discussion always, like, I've never heard so much around. They always think about, okay, how can I get like paid for it? But like on the other side, he's really giving something away, like in the real world, like if you pay, you're gonna see it again.
Hello. Yeah, and also what I just had to think of, I never have been talking about the meaning and the purpose of art like so much before, but I think that this whole NFT and what kind of message the artist transports opened up a very, very big discussion about the role of art in the society. And I really hope I want to to wrap up the conversation. I want to ask you, how do you feel about this, being an artist in this whole situation, having all these opportunities and being basically now able to reach out to so many audience? How do you feel about that, and what do you wish? What do you wish for yourself and for your colleagues? What would help you to feel rather empowered than driven by FOMO?
Empowered rather than driven by FOMO. Good question. I think, I mean, in a sense, as also working in the commercial sphere, I'm kind of used to letting go of the things I create and like giving them away. I think with the NFT, it's, I mean, it's flexible in that. I mean, I'm still not entirely clued up on the law side of things, because I was always under the impression that the intellectual property rights still remain with me as a creator unless I sign, which is also why I've been holding back, which is why I haven't like launched my own projects, because I'm not clued up enough. But I hope that it's I see a lot of hope in the DAO side of things, in creating community, in finding people who have similar or the same ethics as you, building community. But I also hope that it doesn't become that these communities that are formed through NFT, which is, you know, as you said, it's more about like marketing campaigns and stories. I hope that they don't become like, you know, that they don't go away in their own little corners, these communities, that they remain in the space and in dialogue with other communities, that we don't all group off together, you know. So that's my hope, that we find our people, but we still remain open enough to continue the dialogue with others.
Yeah, so continue the dialogue and to be inclusive, to include communities and to include people which are not familiar with NFTs. Tunche is very familiar now. She wants to ask a question. Yes.
Thank you. So when I think about meta walls, like what Anne said basically about transferring the narrative from the street art to metaverse is very hard actually. And it's very much based on the authenticity and creating the direct link between artists and not to say art consumers, but art creators at some point collectors be, because they just support it. And the community we're creating right now, because we're enabling them to ask questions to artists and get together in the museum. And then you see the art, street art. And then not the artists immortalizing, but all the urban scene is immortalizing. Right now, we all see that the cities are bombed and destroyed. And here, we keep reading of that. And I think it's one of the core values of the Metaverse. So this is one. Congratulations from my side. That's a great environment to be about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think Romy wants to say something.
Well, I was the one who asked the question. I wanted to know based on your personal experiences, it could be like law related or like the techie kind of part. It seems that a lot of artists or creative minds in the room here are interested in this whole world, NFT, metaverse, and so on. And if you have to give the top three of your best advices for someone who would like to start creating any digital assets, what would they be?
Top three advices. Everyone has their notebooks to write down.
Can I answer that one?
Okay. First, select a body of work. So think about it as a collection. Think about regular drops. So every week you're dropping a new NFT. And third, use social media to tell that story of the NFT and you as an artist. And that is basically make the NFTs, drop the NFTs, tell the story about the NFTs. The secret is consistency, always. So if you do 100 push-ups every day, or like 5, you're gonna get better. And the same thing is with like creating, promoting, and selling NFTs. That consistency and showing up.
Answer? No, I think you basically have to do kind of the same things like you would do in real life. It's only if it's just an NFT does not make it that it's going to be sell out. You need to, you need to create community, you create a story, you need to also to do all the social stuff. It's basically kind of the same work. Especially now where so many NFTs, you need to kind of, create something new, not to be like in the same pool with millions of others. But it's like there's no difference, I'd say.
I think what I would do is like, it's just like, just do it. It's just do it. It's just like, don't overthink it. It's not about, there is no advice. It's just do it. And then you see, and then you get your work, and then you get you tip your toe into Web3, you feel how it works, you get better over it, you get a better feeling, you learn it. I think what I see with the most artists in the end, they're too anxious actually to do it, because of like lots of things you hear around, like scary, scam, money grabbing, backslash, shitstorm, environment, and all these things. But in the end, Web3 is unstoppable. The thing is moving like a train, and especially in Europe, we are already like ways behind. And in the US, they already thought like a couple of years ago, they're there where we know. And I think it starts in the end with the artists, because you guys are the creators, you have the content, and if you just do it, you can't do anything wrong. And if it goes wrong, then it goes wrong. It's like in real life, and then you do it again.
There was an artist, I think Rachel Robson, she NFT had DNA. What if that goes wrong?
Yeah, basically the NFT is not the art, right? So this is like really important to understand that what is art and what is NFT. NFT is just the way to connect art and collector. And I think that like this idea of I minted the NFT and then someone's gonna buy it for 69 million because there was this president. But this is not the standard. There is no standard yet. The standard is only that the data is secure and that your provenance is secure. But how you build up the story and how you build up the channel of communication, I think this is like the most important thing to understand, that there is no way of, like, this is just the way of showing up. How the artist can show up with this in these new spaces, in this new environment, and it's all about community. So from perspective and from experience of Metaverse, the community is everything. The community might be the power which brings you straightforward, and this might be the power which really entitles you. So the transparency, the communication, being present and telling the story, what is behind the curtains. Because technically, something can always go wrong, and there is nothing, no like right or like perfect. It's all experience, it's all the story, and being present and sharing it with the community and finding people who love exactly what you are doing. And the bigger outreach there is, the better chances you have. And like all these tools are only giving us the outreach. And the consistency, this is right, absolutely. So this is what we are really hardly working on, right, Martina? Consistency and being present. And yeah, so this is all the experience. You buy, Marina, you're buying, right? This is good. I would say the consistency of creating and the consistency of buying, also very important. And I want to use this chance just to encourage people who are in the space to check out our page. We have 50 NFTs which are available from today. And those NFTs are mostly the Genesis drops, the first ever NFTs by artists from Berlin Urban Contemporary Art. So we have 50 new artworks could be purchased. I tell you, the next step will be we will create something very special for the metaverse. So those artworks are now